If people are afraid to speak up, your team is already losing. Welcome to Thrive with Dr. Liz, where we hack the spaces around us to unlock success. Let's dive in. Have you ever been in a meeting where you had an idea, maybe even a great one, but you didn't say anything? Maybe you weren't sure how people would react. Maybe you didn't want to risk looking stupid. Or maybe you've spoken up before and it didn't go well, so now you just stay quiet. Now imagine that happening across an entire team. How many ideas never get shared? How many mistakes go uncorrected because no one wants to admit them? How many opportunities get missed? Not because people aren't smart or talented or capable, but because they don't feel safe to take a risk. That's what we're talking about here today, psychological safety. Because if people don't feel safe to contribute, to challenge ideas, to admit mistakes, or to speak up when something isn't working, the team isn't just struggling, it's already losing. And here's the frustrating part. Most of the time, leaders don't even realize they're creating this kind of environment. They don't set out to make people afraid, but it happens anyway. So let's break this down. What is psychological safety really? Why is it the foundation of high performance, and how do we actually build it into our workplaces, our teams, and even just our everyday interactions? A lot of people hear the term psychological safety and assume it just means being nice at work, like making sure everyone's comfortable, avoiding conflict, not pushing people too hard. But that's not it. That's not psychological safety. Real psychological safety isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about making people feel safe to take risks, admit mistakes, challenge ideas, and be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. Harvard professor Amy Edmondson studied teams across different industries and found that the best performing teams weren't the ones with the smartest people. They were the ones where people felt safe to speak up. Why? Because, when people feel safe, they take more initiative. They don't wait for permission. They act. They admit mistakes early so small problems don't turn into disasters. And they challenge bad ideas before they turn into expensive failures. They collaborate better because they trust that they won't be judged or punished for contributing. Now let's flip that. When people don't feel safe, they keep quiet instead of offering new ideas. They hide mistakes instead of fixing them. And they play it safe instead of taking smart risks. They disengage instead of pushing for excellence. And here's the real kicker. This isn't just about feelings, it's about performance. When people don't feel safe to take risks, they default to not making mistakes instead of doing their best work. And those are not the same thing. So where does it go wrong? Well, a lot of leaders think they're creating psychological safety. They say things like, I have an open door policy, or you can always come to me with problems. But then their actions send a completely different message. There are a few big ways leaders accidentally kill psychological safety. First, punishing failure instead of learning from it. If people know they'll be blamed for making a mistake, they'll do everything in their power to hide mistakes instead of fixing them. A psychologically safe culture doesn't ignore failure, it learns from it. Second, dismissing feedback instead of encouraging it. If you ask for feedback but react defensively when you get it, people notice. And next time, they just won't bother telling you. And third, undermining trust through micromanagement. If you don't trust people to do their jobs, they'll stop taking initiative. They'll just wait to be told what to do. And when that happens, your team's growth stalls. So what does create psychological safety? One of the best ways to build it is through something called psychological capital, or PsyCap. It's made up of 4 key things. Hope, which is the belief that the future will be better and that we have the ability to make it happen. Efficacy, which is the confidence that we can take on challenges and succeed. Resilience, which is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. And optimism, which is the expectation that things will work out. Now, when leaders build psychological capital in their teams, think of it like a bank account. They're actively creating the conditions for psychological safety. And it starts with a few simple things. Modeling vulnerability. I'm willing to say, I don't know, or I got that wrong. Showing people that imperfection is normal. Creating consistent feedback loops, because regular constructive feedback keeps communication open. Reinforcing trust through autonomy. Stop micromanaging. Give people space to own their work. And encouraging risk-taking. Not reckless risk-taking, but calculated, smart risk-taking, where people know that they won't be punished for failing. And here's the thing. This isn't just about leadership roles. Anyone can contribute to psychological safety. It's a team effort. So let's talk about something practical you can do today to start building psychological safety no matter where you are, whether it's at work, in a team, even in friendships or family dynamics. Here's a simple move. The next time someone shares an idea, instead of reacting straight away, pause and say, "Tell me more about that." Why? Because, when people share ideas, they're testing whether it's safe to contribute. If they get shut down or worse, ignored, they'll learn it's not safe. They stop contributing. But when you say, "Tell me more about that," you're signaling that you're open, that their voice matters, that their contribution is valued. And when you do that consistently, you create an environment where people don't just have permission to speak up, they actually want to. So take a second to reflect. Do people feel safe to speak up in your space? When someone makes a mistake, do they own it or do they hide it from you? Do your team members challenge ideas or they just agree to avoid rocking the boat? Are people willing to admit when they don't know something, or do they fake confidence to avoid looking weak? Because the best teams, the best workplaces, the best relationships, they aren't the one with the fewest mistakes. They're the ones where mistakes get caught early, where ideas get challenged in a way that leads to better outcomes, where people aren't afraid to contribute. So whether you're leading a team, working on a project, or just trying to be a better collaborator, ask yourself, am I creating an environment where people want to bring their best? And if you're wondering how to take this even further, how to make psychological safety a built-in part of your team or organization, well, we've got a lot more to talk about.